That man loves me so much. And, you know, look what we built. We've built a beautiful life, and we have 2 healthy, beautiful children. If you haven't noticed, my husband's very, very handsome.
It's so fake.
This can't be real.
Oh, he's such a great partner.
It sucks. Are you joking?
It's
This
bad.
is terrible.
You suck. You suck.
Right, I feel that every day in how supportive he's been. He's also a fox.
You're ugly.
It's weird, right?
I get another lecture from you, I'm gonna go crazy.
Oh my gosh, I work so hard.
Shut the fuck up. You're a fucking idiot.
Imagine flipping on live TV, expecting the same old political back and forth, and then boom, Piers Morgan lifts a stack of glossy, never-before-seen photos right on camera. In seconds, the mood shifts, the air gets heavy, and viewers realize that the carefully sold victim princess storyline might be the boldest performance of Meghan's entire career. Let's keep it real. For years, Meghan pushed the image of a low-key actress, grinding quietly, sipping green juice, writing deep thoughts in journals, and preaching empowerment. But those photos tell a very different story. One packed with exclusive parties, elite circles, private jets, and powerful connections that somehow never made it into her carefully curated interviews. The moment those images flashed across the screen, the polished brand cracked like cheap glass. This wasn't a slip-up or a bad edit. It was a full-scale collapse happening live. No filters, no spin, no escape. For someone who constantly insists there's nothing to hide, an awful lot seems hidden. Deleted blogs, scrubbed photos, disappearing friends, timelines quietly rewritten. And now the one thing her PR team never wanted anywhere near mainstream television finally showed up loud and clear. This wasn't the truth sneaking out, it detonated. And the wild part? Piers didn't need dramatic music or big speeches. The images spoke for themselves, messy, uncomfortable, and impossible to explain away. If you thought the royal exit was chaotic, this is next level.
Oh my gosh, look at all these photos about last night. ... Thank you, Beyonce and team, for an amazing concert and a very fun date night. All love. Girl, she didn't invite you to the concert.
The pre-royal life wasn't quiet or struggling. It was packed with power moves, selective friendships, sudden cutoffs, and secrets she clearly hoped would stay buried forever.
She wants all of the privileges that go along with an identity, but she doesn't want any of the responsibility. She doesn't want to do any of the work. She wants the tiara. She doesn't want the public service.
The studio audience barely had time to react. When Piers leaned forward and calmly raised those photos, the broadcast spiraled instantly. Viewers tuning in for routine debate suddenly found themselves staring at images that ripped apart the carefully protected narrative in one brutal move. No shouting, no smirking, just that slow, deliberate pause that says, "I've been sitting on this." And the internet? It exploded. These weren't random throwbacks. They painted a picture of access, privilege, and exclusivity that didn't match the soft origin story repeated over and over. The energy in the room flipped fast. Even the co-hosts froze, unsure if they were watching journalism unfold or a perfectly timed exposure hitting its mark.
You know, I mean, she used to be on
Was
Deal or
he
No
infiltrated?
Deal. Look, she was on Deal or No Deal.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the wife convinces you to leave the royal family. Like, I'm out. I don't need you guys. Which is crazy, because don't you just get free money?
The media exploded within seconds. Hashtags popped up faster than producers could react. Clips went viral instantly, and millions had already watched the moment before the show even wrapped. This wasn't slow burn drama, it was digital wildfire.
We want our privacy and safety, but we'll go be at Beyonce concerts and do whatever we want. Oh, look at him.
And here's the twist that really shook things up. Piers Morgan didn't frame this as a witch hunt or a takedown. He framed it as setting the record straight, and that phrase hit harder than any accusation ever could. Because if those images were real, and tied to moments Meghan never acknowledged, then the story she carefully sold for years wasn't just incomplete. It looked engineered. But the real thunder wasn't even the photos themselves. It was the question hanging in the air. Who leaked them? And why now? These weren't random throwbacks pulled from an old phone or dusty archive. They showed Meghan moving through spaces that looked exclusive, deliberate, and deeply connected, nothing like the struggling actress image she repeated for years. She wasn't tucked away with castmates or casual friends. She was positioned front and center in circles filled with wealthy men, powerful social players, and Soho House regulars who don't let just anyone through the door. The lighting, the locations, the body language. It all screamed familiarity, not coincidence. That's what set the internet on fire.
Now make yourself cry. Oh, I can do that so well. Oh my God, it's crazy. You're like, Meghan, one tear, left eye, go. Give me 3 seconds.
If Meghan truly lived modestly, if she really struggled the way she claimed, then how did she get access to a club so selective it allegedly turned away major Hollywood names? How did she afford the outfits, the travel, the lifestyle captured in those images? These weren't gossip-driven questions. They came straight from what people could see with their own eyes. Even more telling? Silence. Her legal team, known for jumping on headlines at lightning speed, said nothing. No outrage, no corrections, no pushback. And when someone who fights the press like it's a full-time sport suddenly goes quiet, that silence speaks louder than any denial. But here's the real plot twist. The bombshell wasn't just the photos. It was where they allegedly came from.
Reopen British markets for American companies. All that Britain demands in return is that we keep these two.
No! No! I refuse! I'm sick of it! No, I don't want them. No, I don't want them. It's just, they are so ridiculed all over the place.
Long before Meghan became a global headline magnet, she crossed paths with a man who would later become one of her loudest critics, Piers Morgan. Their connection didn't start hostile. Piers has openly said their first meeting was pleasant, even charming. They exchanged messages, shared drinks at a Kensington pub, and he believed there was a genuine rapport forming. Then, overnight, she vanished from his inbox without a word. The timing couldn't have been sharper. The very next evening, Meghan was photographed dining at Soho House with Prince Harry, stepping into a power circle far beyond anything Piers could offer. That moment planted a quiet resentment that sat there for years, until it finally detonated on national television. And when Meghan's Oprah interview aired, that tension didn't fade. It went nuclear.
And it seems like that lady is a temptress. She's a siren. She's lured him into the rocks.
The backlash from his criticism detonated into a full media storm, one that ultimately ended with Good Morning Britain cutting ties with Piers Morgan.
Oh my God, that hat. Oh God, he's so hot. Look at him. Isn't Prince Harry? She bagged a fox. But look how nice is she. Pulling away from her lovely prince. It's so good. Who's filming this?
Behind the scenes, reports surfaced that Meghan filed a direct complaint, a move Piers didn't see as professional. He saw it as personal. To him, it wasn't a workplace dispute. It felt like betrayal from someone he once believed he had a genuine connection with.
And Meghan just started accepting all these compliments. I know I'm great, aren't I?
Those leaked images weren't just content anymore. They became ammunition. Ammunition in a fight he never asked for, but one he felt dragged into anyway. In his mind, he was up against someone who mastered public sympathy while quietly erasing anything that didn't fit the narrative she wanted the world to see. So when those photos finally hit live television, it didn't feel random or impulsive. It felt like the final release of years of resentment, rejection, and that sinking feeling of being played. But even then, Piers wasn't the most fascinating force behind the leak. Because lurking behind the scenes was someone far closer to Meghan, someone with even more access and potentially more motive.
agreement that was made did not remove the title. It restricted the way it was to be used. It was not to be used publicly. And she was giving a friend some strawberry jam that she made herself, and she wrote HRH, the Duchess of Sussex.
So were they?
Long before the royal headlines, one name kept appearing quietly in the background of her rise: Marcus Anderson.
But to the world, it's just, what has she been doing? Does she work? As opposed to, oh my gosh, I work so hard. And I appreciate what hard work looks like. I like working hard.
The beginning of that clip where she's like, oh my God, oh my God. It's like, it's so inauthentic.
Publicly, Meghan described their bond as simple friendship. Privately, the patterns raised eyebrows, even among industry insiders used to aggressive networking.
Meghan, how are you? And are you okay?
That's so kind. I am. I'm better than okay. How are you?
That smile's a little bit over the top. And that single shoulder shrug she has, that usually indicates that person isn't very confident with their answer or their statement.
Marcus wasn't just around. He was everywhere. Toronto, London, Los Angeles. Every major relocation Meghan made, he seemed to be right there, his career path lining up perfectly at every critical moment.
I couldn't tell anyone who I was dating, and he was keeping. So I think we were just on a letter basis.
Yeah.
This is fake. She knows exactly when that happened. The eye search she's got going on there, that's forced and faked, as is the facial expression.
And with his role at Soho House came more than parties and lounges. It meant access to guest lists, private rooms, exclusive events, and behind-the-scenes moments that never reached the public eye. That kind of access doesn't just open doors. It rewrites trajectories.
So I'd created for the kids these email addresses that sort of like names, again, that you would never guess, that I will give them at some point in their lives when they're older. But before I go to bed almost every night.
Meghan, my God, you get praise every day, getting attention every day. You gotta praise yourself on Mother's Day? Really? It's all branding. Did you notice it? It's all branding to make herself look more relatable and motherly.
For someone carefully crafting a specific public identity, having a gatekeeper like Marcus wasn't just helpful, it was powerful. Rumors swirled that he wasn't merely a friend, but a strategist, someone who understood how elite spaces could reposition a moderately known actress into circles filled with millionaires, influencers, and eventually royalty. And here's the unsettling part. Many of the images Piers revealed appeared to come from environments only Marcus, or someone extremely close to him, would have had access to. If true, that raises an uncomfortable implication.
And she also is pretending that she's crying. We zoomed in just to see. There isn't a tear in sight, Dan. Look at this. I invite the viewers to take a close-up look at this. Where's the tear?
Had someone inside Meghan's most trusted circle decided to stop protecting the story she worked so hard to control? And if Marcus wasn't the source, then someone with equally deep access was clearly playing a long game. This story suddenly became way bigger than personal loyalty or hurt feelings. As the leaked photos spread across the internet, another shadow from Meghan Markle's past resurfaced fast. Rumors that had been whispered for years, but never fully crossed into mainstream conversation.
Meghan Markle is now accused of breaking the agreement with the late Queen after podcast revelation.
Online discussions reignited around long-circulating yacht speculation. These stories didn't describe a struggling actress hustling for auditions. They described a woman moving through ultra-wealthy, invitation-only spaces where private yachts functioned as floating networking rooms for businessmen, social elites, and rising actresses seeking access beyond Hollywood's usual routes.
You made homemade strawberry jam. It's kind of like a doctor when you keep referring to them as doctor and like, call me Susan. You know, like I would never refer to myself as Her Royal Highness.
Is it a bad look for Meghan to still refer to herself as a royal?
No, it's not.
There you are.
Because,
Wake me up when you're done.
thank you.
Several documentaries and writers, including Kirby Summers, have previously pointed out patterns where aspiring actresses were invited to luxury events under the label of hospitality.
Harry comes out and gives this interview in which he not only says he doesn't know how long the king has left to live.
I don't know how much longer my father has. He won't speak to me because of this security stuff.
Which the royal family was like, hey, let's not talk about the king's mortality because you don't know, specifically because the king has refused to speak to you since February 2024. Now that is over a year ago.
Meghan's name repeatedly appeared in those discussions, not as proof, but as part of a wider conversation that never quite went away. Some viral photos tied to those claims were later confirmed to be other women, and that mattered. Still, timelines, locations, and anonymous accounts overlapped just enough to keep speculation alive. And that's what drove the frenzy.
How are Prince William and his wife Kate Middleton responding?
They're done. They're done. William doesn't even want to hear Harry's name anymore. He's just kind of like, don't bring him up. We're good.
I don't know how much longer my father has. He won't speak to me because of this security stuff. I would love reconciliation with my family. I've always, there's no point in continuing to fight anymore. As I said, life is precious.
The visual contrast between a modest lifestyle narrative and images showing access to elite travel, luxury vacations, and first-class experiences.
She decided she didn't want to be a real princess because to be a real princess involves duty and responsibility, caring about other people. And so she just wanted to be a pretend princess in Hollywood. So she split her husband off from his royal family and then inked a $1 zillion deal with a bunch of media companies, and then all her projects flopped.
People weren't making accusations. They were asking questions. If she truly struggled, how were summers in Mediterranean hotspots possible? Who covered the travel? Why did familiar faces appear repeatedly in older social settings linked to elite gatherings? These questions didn't come out of nowhere. They were reignited by the context surrounding the leaked images. And just when it seemed the speculation couldn't climb any higher...
Last year, I had thought, you know what, American Riviera, that sounds like such a great name. It's my neighborhood, it's a nickname for Santa Barbara, but it limited me to things that were just manufactured and grown in this area. And I've been waiting for a moment to share a name that I had secured in 2022. And this is the moment. And it's called As Ever.
Something unexpected added fresh momentum. Prince Harry's own memoir, Spare, unintentionally poured gasoline on the discussion.
If you are trying to reconcile with your family, if you are trying to make amends, you don't go on TV and blame them again. This is literally the last thing.
Harry clearly meant to share a vulnerable love story, not reopen debates about Meghan's past. Yet in several passages, he casually described how deeply she relied on Soho House, portraying it almost like a personal sanctuary she knew intimately. He mentioned early dates, private rooms, discreet meetings, and staff members who seemed unusually familiar with her routine. For most couples, those details might sound romantic. But in this context, they raised eyebrows because Meghan had often minimized her connection to the club.
The woman who destroyed her in-laws' family, whose own family doesn't like her, whose the in-laws obviously don't like her, the public doesn't like her, she's stuck because she was an actress who became a real princess, who wants to be an actress again, but has to continue to pretend to be a real princess.
Harry's recollections painted a very different picture, a woman deeply embedded in that world long before their relationship began.
Wasn't there some speculation that she was on Epstein's yacht at one point in time? There was like photos with her and Prince Andrew way back in the day when she was like in her early 20s. Wow.
That contradiction reopened old questions about access, funding, and influence surrounding a club known for turning away even top-tier celebrities.
It is interesting how she's exposing her as a yacht girl, someone who was paid off by rich men to go and hang out.
As author Kirby Sommers suggested, that the then Meghan Markle likely spent time with Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein before she even met Prince Harry.
Whether intentional or not, Harry revealed more than he likely realized. And once again, the patterns Meghan never addressed became the center of attention, leaving the public staring at a narrative that suddenly felt far less airtight than before.
Listen, I brought Meghan Markle, whatever her name is, to my Deal or No Deal celebrity golf tournament. She was one of my Deal or No Deal girls that were, she was a caddy for all of my celebrities.
His sincerity ended up working against her carefully calculated image. The raw, emotional tone of his memoir clashed hard with the humble persona she had spent years promoting, exposing a sharp contrast between the story she sold and the lifestyle quietly hinted at in his pages. Once people connected those memoir details to the leaked photos Piers Morgan displayed, the narrative took a brutal turn. And Meghan's loudest response to all of it was total silence.
You have to imagine, at the beginning, everyone is like butterflies, and then we immediately went into the trenches together.
Yeah.
Right out of the gate, like 6 months into dating. So now 7 years later, when you have a little bit of breathing space.
I hear this all the time too from the Brits. Like, what do Americans really think of Harry and Meghan? We despise them.
For someone who built an entire brand around controlling her story, that silence rang louder than any statement ever could. This is the same woman who took tabloids to court over a private letter. The same woman whose team fired off statements over misquotes, lighting angles, podcast edits, and minor misunderstandings. Yet when photos surfaced that appeared to challenge the very narrative she's repeated for years, there was no denial, no clarification, not even a familiar sources close to Meghan rebuttal. Instead, she disappeared behind a wall of quiet, so deliberate it felt strategic. The public noticed instantly. If the images were fake, why not say so? If they were misleading, why not correct the record? Her team has never hesitated to confront stories far less damaging than this. That sudden silence created a vacuum, and speculation rushed in fast. Some analysts suggested responding could unintentionally validate the images. Others believed the Sussex PR machine was scrambling, unsure whether addressing the leak or ignoring it posed the greater risk. But ignoring it didn't diffuse anything. It amplified everything. Social media threads multiplied overnight. Commentators zoomed in on every detail, dissecting timelines, outfits, and locations pixel by pixel. The unanswered questions grew heavier, and the silence became its own headline, its own controversy, its own symbol of a past that didn't seem fully erased.
It was planned from the beginning. She denied being interested in the royal family, which she totally was. I know someone who knows the ex-husband who said she had a vision board with Prince Harry on it.
Meghan Markle, the only thing she found was a rich, famous husband.
As scrutiny deepened, a broader pattern began to emerge. These leaks felt less like an isolated incident and more like part of a recurring cycle in Meghan Markle's public evolution. The more people dug into her history, the clearer that pattern became. Selective storytelling, strategic reinvention, and carefully curated omissions stretching far beyond a few photos. Long before royal life, Meghan had already reshaped her image multiple times, shedding old identities whenever they no longer served her next move. Her early blog era vanished almost overnight. References to past relationships, friendships, and lifestyle choices quietly disappeared too. Anything that didn't fit the polished Duchess image was wiped clean. And now, with these images resurfacing, the cracks in that reinvention suddenly felt impossible to ignore.
When I was reviewing her website in real time, doing my video, it said coming soon. But then, like 5 minutes later, we see that she put sold out.
Hollywood insiders quietly noticed how fast she cut people off once new doors opened. Former partners described sudden endings that lined up eerily well with Piers Morgan's own ghosting story. Even entire social circles, fashion bloggers, wellness influencers, Toronto socialites, vanished from her orbit without explanation. Each reinvention came packaged with a brand new storyline. One version focused on struggle, another on resilience, another on humble beginnings. But the cracks kept showing every time an old photo resurfaced, every time a timeline shifted, every time her own words contradicted something she'd said before. More than any other chapter, the Soho House era refused to stay buried. Why? Because it didn't match the ordinary girl who fell in love with a prince narrative at all. The exclusivity, the glamour, the powerful men, the curated access.
Coat of arms for the logo of her newly revamped
Well, it's pretty close, isn't it?
luxury brand. It does look very, very close. Have accused the Duchess of Sussex of copying its traditional coat of arms for the logo of her newly revamped
Well, it's pretty close, isn't it?
luxury brand. It does look very, very close.
None of it lined up with the image she still promotes today. That's why these leaks felt different. They weren't just awkward throwbacks or embarrassing snapshots. They were reminders that Meghan's past isn't missing. It's been edited. And once those edits start unraveling, the entire story risks collapsing.
A Meghan Markle fan has claimed the Duchess's homemade bath salt recipe left her with catastrophic burns and threatened to launch a £7 million lawsuit.
As this latest wave of resurfaced photos, revived connections, and inconvenient contradictions spreads online,
Robin has said she is willing to resolve the matter without legal action if a financial settlement.
one truth becomes impossible to ignore. Meghan Markle's past isn't haunting her because people are obsessed. It's haunting her because no reinvention ever fully erased the version she hoped the world would forget.
The nearest thing Meghan Markle ever had to a billion-dollar idea was marrying a prince.
Every unanswered question fuels more curiosity. Every silent response sparks more analysis. Every unexplained gap invites another deep dive. Silence hasn't shut the conversation down. It's poured gasoline on it. And while Piers' on-air reveal may have cracked the door open, it's the patterns behind that door that keep people watching. The shifting stories, the vanished friends, the luxury access disguised as struggle. That's what keeps the spotlight locked in. Whether Meghan ever addresses these leaks or keeps relying on silence, one thing is clear. The conversation isn't slowing down. It's getting louder by the day. And if you want to see just how deep this rabbit hole really goes, especially when it comes to the tension inside her own family, you need to watch what's next. Check out the video where Thomas Markle Jr. speaks out on camera about her estrangement from their ailing father. It connects directly to everything we covered today and adds an emotional layer that hits hard. Watch it next for the full picture. Like the video, share it, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. This is Star Spotlight, where the truth gets brighter every time the stars try to hide it.